Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss a video from us.
So today we have Mrs. Karuna Kochar. She is having over 15 years of experience in business development area and is currently working as inside channel account manager in Cambium Networks. And you are looking after Singapore, Thailand and Australia for Cambium Networks.
Yes.
You have also been a TEDx speaker, published author and a youth mentor. That's really great, ma'am. You have also worked in top companies like Fortinet in senior positions. We seek her guidance to learn more about business development as a subject and a profession, and also her career trajectory in business development. On behalf of V-Skills, I welcome you to this interview, ma'am. I hope you have a good time today. Welcome, ma'am.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Raja.
So before moving to our more detailed questions, we just like to understand how you have been through business development in your career of 15 years, spanning so many companies, as well as you have been seeing the whole transition in this span of when we see a lot of developments being taking place. So how you have seen and what have been your experience in this business development domain, ma'am?
I think very clearly I was right in the middle of this entire transition of what business development was and what it meant to what it means today. When I started about 15, 18 years ago, business development was a very simple thing. It just meant sales. You had to go meet people, make sure you close deals, you bring the deals in, and it's only counted as a sale once you've done billing. But and that time technology was also not, for us it was as simple as pick up the phone, call the person, set an appointment, go meet him.
Okay.
Unlike today, where sitting here in India, I'm able to try and get meetings and do Teams meetings across the globe. And business development itself has segregated into so many different regions. There's sales, then there's development of partners, then there's branding, then there's marketing. So all this has happened very recently. Earlier it was just called sales, or a better word for sales, because sales representatives lost their charm. They started calling it business development. At the end of the day, you are responsible to get business. That's it. And I think it means the same thing today. However, it just has different varieties and different interesting words added to it. My career course, if anyone's seen my LinkedIn, has been extremely varied. I've worked in the domestic market. I've worked for recruitment. I've worked for retail for a very short stint.
Yes.
I've also worked in Australia for about 2.5 years. There I worked for a bank. And now back in India, I was an entrepreneur for about 6 to 8 years, where I learned business development again in a local market. So I've done business development in the white collar business. Like I've sat across people in companies and corporates and had, conversations. And I've also sat in the bazaars of Bangalore where I've sold bags.
Oh.
And pretty much the place where I would sit was an dustbin there. So they just invert a bucket and that would be my seat. So I've done it both. I've done the gamut. So I can sit in a corporate office and I can also sit in the bazaar to do my sales. So it's been varied. It's been an interesting journey, and a lot of people might question how things I've done, but for me it's all been a learning. So today, if it just helps me as a person of business development, as someone who's done business development, to understand how each market works. How does the IT industry work in sales? How does the local market work in sales? How do you sell yourself before you sell any product? So this has been a great learning for me over the last 15 years, and thus my journey has been very, very varied.
Yeah, it's really so nice to hear that you had a very not only varied but a from ground up scenario, I will say, from bazaars to as well as to corporates. So first,
Yeah.
I will just now we'll just put up some specific questions so that all those candidates who are watching this interview, they have a fair knowledge of where they can move across in their careers. So as we know that business development is largely based on building strong relationships. So what
Mhm.
according to you is the most important of or of very much value in this human connection when we talk of business development and relationship?
The answer lies in your question, Rajat. You asked me what is the value. So, when we are salespeople, when we are business development people, we have to remember this word value. There are millions of things people can buy. Today, there's probably not a single company that can say we are the only ones doing it. There are multiple options for anything. Anything you want to buy has multiple options.
Yes.
So people, there are two things you remember. A, of course, the value you bring to the table, which is very, very, very important. Two, people don't buy products. People buy from other people. So, as a business development person, what you bring to the table also matters apart from what product your company is manufacturing. So, it's extremely important to understand that first, the person needs to like you before the person can buy your company product.
Okay.
And this is extremely important in human connection.
Okay. So it means that we need to understand that these two are the major factors in business development. And what do you think, ma'am, that what are the most important soft skills when we are working on psychology aspect of this business development, which helps to make this connection of this human connection better with the stakeholders or specifically the customers that business development are engaging with?
So, communication is important, but over the years, along with communication, there has something that has been added on is a skill set of being able to communicate something in a specific time. If you are still writing long emails, or if you're still drafting long introductions of yourself, nobody has the time to read or listen. So you need to be concise and you have to be communicative. So how much can you tell in how little time matters, along with not making it like a very big story. So one of the most important, or two most important skill sets is communication and time bound communication. So let's say if I tell you, can you introduce yourself in 30 seconds? A lot of people will say 30 seconds is too less of a time. How can I give
Sure.
you,
Yes.
my life story in 30 seconds? The point is, you don't have to tell your life story. You have to tell the person why that person needs to buy from you. And that could be brought down to three very distinct points. And that can be told in 30 seconds. So, working on your communication and making it concise is key today.
Okay. And ma'am, how you see customer research when we talk of in business development success means how what role does it really play?
Extremely important, Rajat. Extremely important because you have to be prepared when you go to talk to someone. You cannot afford to go absolutely blank and tell them, hey, I want to sell you a pencil, but I'm not sure what your business is. So why don't you first tell me if you need a pencil, then I'll sell you a pencil. No one has time to do that. You need to first understand if this business needs a pencil and then you go sell it. So, and all thanks to Google, it's a matter of, so I also, as a busy person, most of the times I don't have time to go through an entire company history. But before I'm going into a meeting or before I log into a meeting, it's a matter of just quickly reading up on what the organization is and
Yes.
what are the basic things they do. If you know 5 things about the organization, it'll always help you have a better conversation. Make sure you have these 5 things listed somewhere before you make this conversation with them.
Okay, ma'am. Now let's see that we are seeing that there's a lot of technology being introduced, and it has become so much relevant, and it has peeped into each and every aspect of business, our day-to-day life as well. So if we must keep up with the technology, or we will lose relevance. So how does it in more applicable in this business development domain?
Very important, very, very. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, the dependency on technology has shot up
Okay.
very high. So earlier, I would probably say that it's okay if you're not tech savvy as long as you know your skills in business development. But I will not be able to say that today. Today everything boils down to your understanding of technology, your understanding of what's going on in the world today. And if you are not up to date, unfortunately you will lose the edge some of the other people have. So it's always good to upgrade. There's a limitation. I'm 38, 39 myself this year, so I also, there are limitations even in my age where I feel that there's, someone knows something more than what I know in this field. But as much as you can, it's always good to stay in, always good to keep upgrading yourself, keep the understanding up to date. And the dependency on technology is high. So today you cannot be a salesperson or a business development person if you don't have the basic understanding of technology or the basic details of what's going on in the world today.
Okay, man. How do you see digitalization of business development when we see that this whole digitalization, digital transformation coming up in businesses? So, how do you see its impact in business development, and what should one take steps towards it? How to digitalize or being more digital ready?
I think, yeah, I mean, as much as I would say business development is more on personal relationships, the one way to build a personal relationship is your digital world. It's the easiest and the fastest.
Okay.
If I had to sit here and fix up a meeting with someone in Delhi or someone in Bombay, it's as easy as reaching out to them on LinkedIn and sending. So digitization for me is not just social media, but even the basic things like send out an email to them directly or things like that. But that's only step one, Rajat. At the end of the day, it is what you build after that that matters. So while digitization can get you in the door, your personal involvement and your personality will keep you in the door. So it's easy to get a meeting with someone, but to be able to convert that meeting and to be able to host that meeting is still dependent on the person and personality. So digitization is great. Sorry, make sure you have the right tools in your hand, but don't rely completely on it to get you through it. It's only step one.
Okay. Because as we are seeing that companies are using various tools, and as we see every year new tools are coming up. So what you suggest that
Yeah.
what all tools are will be relevant in this, means to succeed in this business development domain?
So it's like multiple ways to get your work done. Nothing else. Competition will keep increasing because people need to make money, right? So there'll always be more CRM tools coming in. In terms of, so I am old school. I have and I still continue working on Salesforce, which I think does its job. But I do know that there are multiple new names coming into the market. I've heard a lot about Zoho as well, doing some fantastic work on CRM. Um, so this is going to keep happening. It only depends on which company at what time finds what relevant. So it's a matter of gathering information. I mean, it's taking what we did in Excel and putting it in a more better format. So if you look at it that way, there's nothing to be scared of and there's nothing to be worried about. Uh, and none of these are very to understand. To be very honest, I also wasn't very familiar with these tools when I started. And when someone asked me, I was like, oh my God, I don't
Oh,
know.
say yes.
But it's not too hard to understand. It's fairly simple. So, I don't think it's a big challenge. And I feel that it's got to go more this way because you're looking at instant information coming your way. So in that sense, if a manager is sitting somewhere else and the manager needs a month-long report, instead of asking individual people for their reports, it's as simple as going on to your, reports, downloading the file, downloading your pie chart, downloading details, and you're sorted. So it just makes life easier for the management. And I guess it will, the trend of having technology as part of business development will continue to increase.
Ma'am, we also see that right now a lot of networking is needed in business development, and we are saying that with technology, the online networking has really gained a lot of traction. So, how do you see
Yes.
the benefits or disadvantages of online networking?
Again, pros and cons, Rajat. First, it's just pairing up a meeting with someone else. You send them out a text if you're if you have a decent background and if you have decent people on portals like LinkedIn, it is fairly easy to get a conversation going with them.
Okay.
Um, However, that's, like I said, step one. Pro is it's easier to reach out to them. The con is you can rely completely on just this one email or just this one message. The other con is that you know, whatever said and done, nothing like a personal meeting. Nothing. I mean, this you can be as authentic as you want to be, but the screen will take away at least 30 or 40% of your personality.
Okay.
What you can actually show in person. So, pros and cons. But I guess it's always good to use technology because I mean, I can imagine if I needed a meeting with someone in Delhi before LinkedIn came or before Google gave us all this information, I'd have to spend months in researching who I should reach out to and sending them an email and then waiting for their response. But LinkedIn has made life easier, and
Okay.
I'm just saying LinkedIn many times here because I don't see any other social platform being as effective as LinkedIn, very honestly. I use a lot of LinkedIn in my business development, and it has worked for me so far.
Okay. So, what according to you are the main strategies or the key strategies that companies or executives in business development should focus on for success?
Okay, I think we're done and dusted with being salespeople.
Okay.
We're done and dusted saying you need to buy my product because it's time we start asking more questions. It's time we start understanding what the other person needs. I think the word today is value selling.
Okay.
Understanding what the person needs and then figuring out if you can contribute somewhere. We've stopped having conversations somewhere, Rajat. I mean, we're so scared that the other person will say, I don't want something. Our entire pitch has become, and I don't mean any disrespect, but our entire pitch has become the pitch like a call center. You get a phone number and you're immediately like, hey, you know what? Let me tell you what I can do. Let me tell you what we have. Let me tell you. I don't even know if he needs these services.
Okay.
So I think take a step back. Let's have conversations. People are not going to eat you up. Let's understand what they want. Let's ask the relevant questions, get the relevant answers, and then pitch for a sale. I think as business development people, as salespeople, we are always very nervous. We're too scared to pick up the phone and ask questions because we
Yes.
want to do a sale. We get scared. We're like, oh my God, if I ask this person one more question, he'll hang up on me. So let me not ask him anything. Let me just tell him my entire story. So it doesn't
Right,
work that
right,
way.
right, ma'am. Right, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. And how do you think that how the new developments are aligning the business development and the marketing initiatives in an organization? Means how they are coming
Yes.
up
So
or
like I said, of late, business development has branched out into so many different things. Marketing, branding, your actual sales, your build of network. All this comes under business development. At the end of the day, I think it should all head down to one thing, and making sure your marketing and your business development work hand in hand, which I see is pretty much the gap in most companies. The marketing develops an edge or an entire market strategy, and somewhere the business development has their own strategy, and this does not always come hand in hand. A successful company is that branding and your business development all in a line. It's very hard. Usually marketing and business development people are always loggerheads because
Okay.
we have this ego fight between us. We think we're doing the job, marketing thinks they're doing the job. So there's always this unsaid competition. Having said that, I think if a company finds a way to intervene or to weave your marketing, branding, and your business development initiatives to one, and make sure, like, if a marketing is sending out a pitch in the market today, your business development is following the same pitch in the market that week, your effectiveness will be fourfold.
Okay.
So I think one of the strategies should first be how to marry marketing and business development teams. I guess if a company figures that out, you're sorted for your sales.
Okay. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Now let's concentrate that when we are talking of aspirants who want to get in or succeed in this business development. So what key skills they should develop or what key skills are needed to succeed in business development?
Okay. One, of course, work on yourself. There is no easy replacement for your personality. Anything you mug up, anything people you pay thousands of rupees to learn will be of no use if you haven't worked on yourself or your own personality. So always start with yourself. Point number two, make sure you're confident. So your confidence is key. Believe in your product. Only if you believe in your product can you sell your product. If I don't think this pencil is worth it, I'm not going to be able to sell it to you, no matter how much of a pitch I have by hearted the night before.
Yes, very
So
true.
believe in your product. Make sure you understand your product. You don't read out from a sheet because you need to understand it before you can sell it. And point number three is communication. Most important. Using a lot of people think talking big words, using jargons will make you feel more intellectual. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes talking simple English or simple any other language will still get your message across and more effectively than trying to use words you don't understand. So don't try getting ahead of the English language curve. That's a different challenge altogether. Communication does not mean using complicated word or complex sentences. It means things in the simplest way possible so that the other person understands. So three things: personality and communication.
Okay, that's really insightful, and so you have clarified this very thing. Now, so what advice you will give to the aspirants who want to join this very field of business development? Means what they should be careful, how they should approach.
Yeah. So, okay. First, of course, invest in yourself. Understand if this is a field you really want to get into. Just because someone else's daughter or son is doing it doesn't mean you're fit for it. So, analyze what you are. Okay. Point number two. Just because you're an introvert, it doesn't mean business development is not for you. People think business development people have to be this extremely extroverted people who can go talk anywhere and make any conversation. It is not always necessary. It's good to have an extroverted nature, but it is not the key factor of deciding whether you're a good salesperson. You can still be selective about the people you talk to, but talk properly. So do not let people make you believe that if you're an introvert, you cannot go into the line of business development. Three, listening. Make sure, more than talking, listening is so important because most of the times we're talking at the other person. We're not even waiting for them to finish what they're saying, or we're not even waiting for them to, tell us what they want. We're just saying, hey, listen to me. So business development is not for people who speak well always. It's also for people who listen well. So make sure you pay attention to these things. You understand what your key strengths are and how you can utilize them to make sure a person has a conversation with you. You're not here to sell. You're here to have a conversation. And you understand this correctly, you can definitely make successful business development people. It's a very competitive market out there. It's extremely competitive. So it is very easy to lose your focus. It is very easy to lose your confidence. It is very easy to give up. But if you think this is a field for you, do not. Do not give up because it is really not worth, all the effort you put in. Just saying, okay, this is not what I want to do, or this is not what I wanted to do. So do not let people define, do not let the world define if this is meant for you or not. It's completely your choice, and it's completely what you should do for yourself, not for what the world thinks.
Okay, so it has been really so much insightful, and we thank you, ma'am, for giving the valuable time. And I think that it has your insights, your experience will help a number of candidates who will be watching this very interview to better their career, to succeed, and of course be satisfied and be focused and be aware that whether they should be going into this very domain or not. Again thanks from V Skills to provide us to share this valuable time to us, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, Rajat. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss a video from us.